You see, it's much smaller, isn't it? I mean, it was the same height. You know, it would have been up to about there.
Queen Elizabeth II is the Queen of the UK. She is also the constitutional monarch of 15 other realms of the 53-member Commonwealth of Nations. Let me also tell you that Queen Elizabeth is the Supreme Governor of the Church of England. She reigns over the 16 nations of the Commonwealth of Realms, including Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Barbados, the Bahamas, Jamaica, Papua New Guinea, Tuvalu, St. Lucia, Belize, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and the Solomon Islands, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Elizabeth has reigned as a constitutional monarch through significant political changes, including the accession of the UK to the European communities, Canadian patriation, the decolonization of Africa, and devolution in the United Kingdom.
Always remember that diamonds are stones, so they're very heavy.
Yes. Fortunately, my father and I have about the same sort of shaped head.
If you enjoy these videos, please remember to hit the like button, as it does help us out a lot. And comment below who your favorite celebrity is that you'd love to see in an upcoming video.
Her full name is Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor, but is also known as Queen Elizabeth II and Lilibet. She was born April 21, 1926 in Mayfair, London, England, making her 94 at the time of this production. She stands at 1.63 meters or 5 feet 4 inches tall. Let me also tell you that she is not actually required to get a driver's license due to her royal privilege. This lady is a member of the National Church of Scotland. Moreover, Queen Elizabeth has met with leaders of several churches and religions, including John Paul II, Francis, Benedict XVI, Pius XII, and John XXIII. Queen Elizabeth of England is a patron of more than 600 charities and organizations, and her main leisure interests include dogs and equestrianism. Back in the 1950s, she was depicted as a glamorous fairy tale queen. In public, the Queen wears mostly solid color overcoats and decorative hats, which help Elizabeth to be seen easily in a crowd. The popularity of Queen Elizabeth II sank to a low point during the 1990s, and the Queen began to pay income tax for the first time under pressure from public opinion. A number of notable artists have portrayed Queen Elizabeth II in a variety of media, including painters Peter Blake, Pietro Annigoni, Terence Cuneo, Chinwe Chukwugo Roy, Lucian Freud, Tyshawn Scherenberg, and Juliette Pinet. Let me tell you that the notable photographers of this lady have included Yusuf Karsh, Terry O'Neill, Dorothy Wilding, Cecil Beaton, Annie Leibovitz, and Lord Lichfield. Back in 1926, Marcus Adam took the first official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. In 1950, Crawford published a biography of Queen Elizabeth II and her sister's childhood years. The biography was entitled The Little Princesses and describes Elizabeth's love of dogs as well as horses, her attitude of responsibility, and her orderliness. Moreover, Margaret Rhodes described Queen Elizabeth II as a jolly little girl, but fundamentally well-behaved and sensible. Forbes ranked her number 46 in its list of Power Women 2020. Queen Elizabeth II is subject of a popular Netflix series known as The Crown. Although she has traveled to different countries, Queen Elizabeth II does not have a passport. She used ration coupons to abide by the post-war austerity measures when she was purchasing her wedding dress. Let me also tell you that Elizabeth loves reading mystery novels, and she also watches wrestling on TV during her leisure time. She's married to Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark. On November 20th, 1947, the couple got married, and they have 4 children together. They welcomed their first son, Prince Charles, on November 14th, 1948. Then she gave birth to Princess Anne, and Prince Andrew was born in 1960. In 1964, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip welcomed their 4th child, who was named Prince Edward.
So there are some disadvantages to crowns, but otherwise they're quite important things.
She was born to the Duke of York and the Duchess of York during the reign of Elizabeth's paternal grandfather, King George V. Her father later became King George VI, and her mother became Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. The Duke of York was the second son of the king, while Elizabeth's mother was the youngest daughter of Scottish aristocrats, the Earl of Strathmore and Kinghorn. Queen Elizabeth II was delivered by cesarean section and was baptized by the Anglican Archbishop of York, Cosmo Gordon Lang. Let me tell you that she was named Elizabeth after her mother, Alexandra. In 1930, her only sibling, Princess Margaret, was born. Both of them were educated at home, and lessons concentrated on literature, music, language, and history. When George V died, Elizabeth's uncle became King Edward VIII. However, he abdicated in 1936 so he could marry his American wife, Wallis Simpson. As a result, Elizabeth's father, Albert Frederick Arthur George, became George VI and reigned from 1936 to 1952. In February 1952, he died, and Elizabeth ascended to the throne. At that time, she became Queen Regnant of the UK, Australia, Canada, South Africa, Pakistan, Ceylon, and New Zealand. In 1942, Elizabeth was appointed as the Colonel-in-Chief of the Grenadier Guards and made her first solo public appearance in 1943. In 1944, she served as the Counselor of State. Elizabeth became the Women's Auxiliary Territorial Service in 1945. In 1946, Queen was inducted into the Welsh Gorsedd of Bards. She traveled to several South African countries in 1947. It was her first official trip with her parents. When Elizabeth was proclaimed as the Sovereign of the Commonwealth Realms, she was on a trip to Kenya, New Zealand, and Australia with her husband. Elizabeth's coronation took place on June 2, 1953, at House of Windsor. Let me also tell you that it was the first coronation ceremony to be televised. Queen Elizabeth II visited the U.S. in 1957, and she addressed the UN General Assembly. She celebrated her Golden Jubilee as monarch in 2002 and addressed the United Nations for the second time in 2010. Then in 2012, Queen Elizabeth II opened the Olympics and Paralympic Games. During the same year, Elizabeth became the first sovereign after King George II to participate in the peacetime cabinet meeting. In 2017, Elizabeth became the first British monarch to celebrate a Sapphire Jubilee. The leaders of the Commonwealth of Nations announced back in 2018 that Queen Elizabeth II will be succeeded by Prince Charles as head of the Commonwealth. Let me tell you that she is considered the longest-serving British monarch, and she's also one of the longest-serving monarchs in history.
Deputy First Minister, Your Majesty.
Oh, good evening.
Hello. Are you well?
Thank you very much. I'm still alive.
Nice to see you again.
This year, Queen Elizabeth II was ranked number 372 on the Sunday Times Rich list of the richest people in the United Kingdom. The primary source of income for Queen Elizabeth II is real estate and her investments. In a given year, she makes around $18 million in income from the Crown Estate. Moreover, the Duchy of Lancaster produces around $27 million each year for Queen Elizabeth II. The total net worth of Queen Elizabeth II is $600 million. The official residences of Queen Elizabeth II are Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle. And the Duchy of Lancaster. Moreover, Queen personally owns the Balmoral Castle and Sandringham House. However, the British Crown Estate is held in trust and the Queen cannot sell it. Windsor Castle is the weekend residence of Elizabeth. While the Palace of Holyrood is her official residence in Scotland. The official residence of Queen Elizabeth II in Northern Ireland is Hillsborough Castle. Queen Elizabeth II owns the following cars: a Bentley Bentayga, a custom-built 2015 Range Rover LWB Ladolette, a Land Rover Defender, the Royal Gold State Coach, an Aston Martin Volante D86, a 1900s Daimler Phaeton, a 2001 Jaguar Daimler V8 Super LWB.